Boy, Suzanne Fields was my guest today that you're about to hear all kinds of great stuff from. She does land, she does commercial, she does residential. She's very involved with heavy networking, been in the industry for 35 years. Really interesting. Wait till you see it. I look forward to you checking it all out.
Welcome to Real Estate Riches, where Kathy Byrnes empowers realtors to achieve the success they've always dreamed of. Starting her career at 55, Kathy built a thriving business that offers the freedom of time and financial independence. And now she's sharing her journey to help others do the same. Whether new to the industry or looking to level up, this channel is your hub for proven strategies, inspiring stories, and the tools you need to grow your real estate business. Join Kathy each week to explore global opportunities, successful systems, and expert insights to take your career to the next level. Get comfortable, pick a video, and start learning. Your journey to success starts now.
Hey everybody, it's Kathy Byrnes, and I'm here today with Suzanne Fields, and she's with Coldwell Banker, and I'm so excited to have her, and this is Real Estate Riches. Hey buddy, how are you?
I'm great. How are you doing?
Doing wonderful. Excited to have you on here because you do a lot of unique things in the real estate industry. Been in it a long time. 35 years, is it?
Right. 35.
Yeah. That's what someone told me in some of your stuff. Is that right?
It's correct, yes.
It's staggering, isn't it? I mean, when we think how
it is staggering. It is staggering, yes.
Yeah. But the truth is,
I started right out of college, so.
Yeah. But the truth is, think about that. If you've been in it for 35 years, you've seen a lot of stuff. And you stuck through it, as we were talking earlier, in the grit of challenges, because the market in 35 years has gone many cycles, and you've clearly had to learn how to pivot, would you say?
I would say that's exactly right. That's the perfect word for it, yes.
Yeah. Well, give us a little background about you and how you got into this at 18.
Well, right out of college, I went to work for a new homes builder. So I sat model homes, which is very boring, but it's a great place to be at the same time. Yeah. That company is now K. Hovnanian. So I did that work in Maryland and DC and Virginia. And then I went to Scottsdale to sell custom homes and land. And that was a lot of fun. But at the same time, I started an aviation career, a real job. Oh. So I became an aviation lobbyist over time. But while I was in Arizona, I always have stayed licensed. Since college, I have stayed licensed, and I've either worked it full-time or part-time. So while I had the aviation career, I also had a second business, a salsa, that I invented and was in the groceries and Walmart across the country. So I did that. It was a side gig. I became known in the real estate as the salsa queen. So it was a good marketing tool. More than it was anything else. So I did that, which was a lot of fun, but I learned a lot. And then I decided to be a full-time broker. And that was 2006. So that was when I opened my first office in Great Falls. And I was trying to focus on land, but I had 20 residential agents. And that was in the market. Then the market changed. Yeah. But it was okay for me because I was focusing on land at the time. So it matter. And so that continued to thrive, but I ended up changing flags and opened up a United Real Estate company because they were very focused with land as well and auctions and things like that. And then I started Lodge and Fields. My partner and I started Lodge and Fields and decided to go under the Coldwell Banker flag instead of going solo. Gotcha. So going solo at that time, which was 2019, right before COVID, right? Another lovely, challenging time to start a business. But, what I did was I just went ahead and said, there's so much going on. You're talking about AI and specialties and all that. The back office and the contracts have gotten larger and longer and complicated. And it was like, you know what? I'm just going to pay Coldwell Banker a partial commission and let them handle the back office. So it's been the smartest move I've made because I've been a solo broker and I know what that entails. So I'm really glad I did that.
Yeah. And so did you still have those 20 agents coming with you, going through those different things?
No, only about 10 of them came. And then when Lodge and Fields opened up, we really only wanted about 10 agents. So we had about Yeah, because we wanted to keep it small. We wanted to work investments. We wanted to work commercial and land, et cetera. So that's part of the reason I'm a big proponent of these designations. Not all of them. I mean, there's a lot of alphabet soup letters to throw across the name, and I've never been a big fan of that. I've not promoted it, but long ago, I obtained the ALC, which is the Accredited Land Consultant certification, and same with the CCIM, which I just got, which I wanted for 10 years. I wanted it for 10 years. The commercial, it's the certificate for commercial investment.
Well, they're unique. They're unique fields, so it makes sense to get a certification for that.
Yes, and those both had to have multi-millions of dollars in sales in their fields. And you had to take extensive education, which was the best thing I could have done. I should have done it 10 years ago for the CCIM, for the commercial side, because I was running into commercial deals, whether I wanted them or not.
Because of
then land, of course, you build homes, you do custom homes. I mean, I work with builders and developers. They just intertwined so much, that I just feel it's something I would tell people. You know what? Really look at those very carefully, even just for the education, not so much, I have that designation. But there's only about 10,000 worldwide members in the CCIM and 2,000 members in the ALC, the RLI, which is where you get your ALC. That stands for Realtor Land Institute. It's under the NAR. So just to give you some perspective.
Well, let's step back a minute. Our audience is often people in their second phase of their life. And you have basically reinvented yourself, what I'm hearing. Me too. You heard my story. And so there's a lot of agents that are watching this that's maybe a second or third career. They're getting into real estate. They're thinking strictly go by residential. But because the market is so tight, it's similar to different challenging eras where you need to figure out what might work for you. And in this market, I know of different tools, like you can go on PropStream and you can find different land even, as well as homes that may or may not be on the market, where you can kind of figure a process out of how you could call different people. For example, with that tool, I'm a waterfront gal. I like the waterfronts around this lake here. And I like the price point because I'm always looking at my net, not my gross. And so I got PropStream and I went in there and I had my VA go in and find properties that had been owned for over 35 years, because that told me there's potential to sell. And I wanted $1 million worth of equity because it gave their original loan, not necessarily their current loan. And so that told me they had money to play with. They may be downsizing. They may want to get a different piece of property. They may be ready to sell. And that's my call list to be able to go after. And so I think agents have to be connected with other people that are giving them insight on how to go do this business, because I was with a lot of companies until I got to my current one. Nobody helped us on training. Nobody really gave us any insight. And very non-collaborative. I think the industry itself is changing, thank God, because I give everything away. Because I want everybody to survive and thrive, not just survive, but really thrive. But you do have to have grit, don't you think?
Yeah. Well, I'm glad you brought that up, because the reason I took over the RLI chapter and expanded the states is because our mission basically is to collaborate more closely and extensively with the residential and the commercial areas. Because if you're not collaborating, this is not, you don't just network for buyers or sellers, you network with your huge arena of agents and brokers across the world. So not only are you going to get referrals, but you can work in tandem. I don't care. I'm like you. I don't care if there's 4 brokers on a deal. That doesn't matter. Right. It's all about getting the deal done. And working together. And so everybody seems to be pretty happy about that. It hasn't always been that way with commercial and residential. There's been a lot of, you don't know what I know. And come on, guys.
Let me just slap you around a little.
Let me slap you around. But I'm getting a great response from everyone regarding the collaboration and why that's so important. I'm on my way to the RLI conference, the land conference in Tucson this next week or so. And there was a time we weren't showing up because of COVID. We weren't going to conferences, but I have never been to a conference in person that I didn't leave with business every time. And these are brokers and other agents. So, and then I learned something, like you're saying, I learned something every single time.
Yes, because you're also on purpose. If you go there, you're on purpose. So many go and they don't dig in to capture what you're going there for. It's not vacation. I'm going there to work. I'm going to have fun too, but I'm going there to work. I'm going there to learn. I'm going there to connect and build a sphere around the world.
Right. So that's why I want to say kudos to you for starting this global podcast, because the timing is perfect. The timing is perfect. And it's not that it hasn't always been needed. It's just not been at the forefront how important it really is. Everybody, I know that starting out, a lot of and I call them cookie cutter, and I don't mean anything bad by that, but the residential brokerages, which is why I sort of went away from that for my own personal work, was because they basically said, you need to just farm this one small area. Well, yes, that works. That's great.
Limited
for some people. Right. It's never been what I have done. I've never just focused on one small. As far as my land, I was selling land all over Virginia and Maryland, which again would lead me to commercial deals, which would lead me, I can refer this office building. Somebody wants me to list for them and I don't want to list it. Right. So I'm going to send it to them and still make $10,000. Yay. Yeah. Right. So I'm just a big proponent and let's just collaborate. Just do it.
Too, Ann. Well, it's funny you said that because I keep telling agents, my company's EXP, so we're global and we're one company, so it's really easy to connect with people through our system. So I started thinking I'm at an age, I don't want to necessarily work with buyers and sellers anymore. And I would rather do outgoing referrals all day long, high price point, places like Greece, like you've got behind you there, because I have agents in Greece that I know that I can send referrals to. And I do a lot in Portugal. I'm going to start doing it in Spain. So I'm on purpose with my marketing is that way. I want to let you know. And inviting different people around the world into this podcast gets me also connected to people in this. Now, you are going to be my new go-to person for commercial because you're going to know commercial in places that I don't know. So I'm excited to have you on here because it's a whole different element. And this is what I want to teach all these agents. Think bigger. Think bigger.
Right. And especially land. Land is what's taken me everywhere. And I get people finding me on the internet and calling me and saying, I have some land to sell. I found you on the internet. I'm like, okay, cool. That's where the social media is great, but that's not social media. That's being part of RLI. And they are promoting us, all over the place. However, I do want to say one thing to our agents, okay? And I'm sure you're going to agree with that. In fact, I know you are because you just told me you're getting ready to go show a house for someone to help them out.
Yeah.
I know many brokers and agents, and let's talk residential, okay? Because I've done residential my whole life as well, is don't think it's such a small deal that we can't do it. And don't turn down rentals. I can't tell you how many agents have said, well, I don't do rentals. And I have gotten more referrals from doing a rental. I might have made $200, right? So what? Yeah. But I would get 2 or 3 referrals from it because they were so happy because so many agents won't help renters. And I found it to be a wonderful little spot. I don't do a lot of them, but I don't turn them down unless it's just crazy and I need to send it to someone who might do a better job at it or that territory or whatever it is. But don't be afraid to go small and don't think you only have to take the biggest deals that there are. The bigger deals come, right? Yeah. I just did an auction. Auction's a great place too. I mean, I've sold residential homes and land through auctions, and that's a great place too. Just, there's just so many ways to market. We just sold a development deal on an auction about $7 million. And that happened in one day, right? It was one day of auctioning. There was no big marketing. I mean, you do a little bit of prep before, some marketing in the auction company. I didn't do it.
Talk about auctions, because they were big in 2008 and 9 because there were so many homes that were like being auctioned before they went into foreclosure. and to try and get almost like a short sale in a sense. And but where do you even find that? I mean, like, how do you find that in your own area? Because this is going all across the states. Where are you finding auctions to be a part of?
There's auction companies that are all over, and you just call them up and you say, I have a referral. I have a home, a seller who needs to sell his house. And there was a lot of stigma with auctions with residential, right? They would say, oh, I don't want people to think I'm going bankrupt or I'm not doing well. And in our area in Great Falls here, we have houses that are 2 to 10 million. That's a crazy market here. And oh my gosh, they would never the thought of it. But what happened was it's just actually become a great marketing tool. And people, they used to get together in person and get the fervor would just go crazy and they would bid against each other. But now online, they're doing the same thing. You know, they're just
it's online?
bidding more. Pardon?
It's
all online. It's mostly online now. Now, in areas where you're selling farmland or country or whatever, a lot of times they do it in person. But the one we just did, the development deal, 58 lots, we just did it online. And they were bidding against each other like crazy because they can and they get excited. And so pretty soon you're actually selling it for more than you might have. So it's definitely, there's a company called Transon that I use. United Country has auctions as well. They tend to be more country, ranches, farms, but Transon is very active in my area and all over the country. So they've come.
I'm sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off. So I was just thinking of a development right here in our area. It's a big development where one of the developers died. And supposedly now the whole development is stalled because there was no will, there's no plan for the other partners, like how it was going to proceed. So it's stalled and it's big. And I think like 50 some acres with all kinds of buildings being built, 55 plus community, townhomes, all that. So I keep thinking there's an opportunity there and I don't know I wouldn't know who to go to, but I'm thinking other developers would say, let me check this out.
That's right. Right. So you can just call the other developers and find them and without even doing auction. But, auction is a great way to go because you can just do a referral. You just get a referral.
Yeah, that's fine.
I'm not an auctioneer.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
I love it.
I was.
Really?
But I'm not. So yeah, it's another marketing. It's just another way to market.
Right.
It really.
How does it compare to cash offers? There's no bidding up. There's more bidding down. Is that?
No, not necessarily. No, that's what people think. They think, I'm just lowballed and because you're paying cash. Nope, that's not really what's happening around here. It's just helping it market. It's helping it market. And again, with the competitiveness of buyers, that's what helps the price go up. So it's not always a lowball thing.
You just opened up my mind. I love that too.
Yeah, and it's fun. It's fun too. Yeah. So
now let's talk about networking because you clearly do a lot because you're in all these communities, these organizations. I'm a big fan of networking in every aspect, and I'm in BNI networking, which is an international thing, and I've been in that since 2008. You couldn't get me out, and
that's a good one. Yeah,
that's a good one, and I've gotten so much business from it through the years. But more importantly, I've made connections that I have on a first name basis. They're like my team. They're an extension of me with all these other specialties.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah, no, that's really good. One of the things I did want to mention was that being here in the Washington, D.C. area, 40% of the workforce is here, Maryland, D.C., and Virginia. And so I'm foreseeing some buildings that are going to become empty and will end up being for sale. And there's a lot of repurposing. So just for an example, the Circuit City buildings, right? I met a gentleman the other day at one of my events that has been working for the post office and Verizon for years, and he finds them buildings and land. That's what he does. That's all he does. So repurposing and finding the circuit cities, or, if you have another idea for a new business or whatever to go into those buildings, they're screaming deals because they've got to get rid of them and they don't know what else to do with them. So I foresee that that's pumping up around here. But right now, as far as residential around here, it's a buyer's market because, the sellers are popping up everywhere. They're freaking out and I'm losing my job and it's kind of sad.
Oh, I see what you're saying. Yeah, yeah.
Right, right. So it's but having said all that, I've never let the government over all this time control my real estate day to day.
Yeah.
A lot of people go, oh, it's this, or, oh, the market's down. I was like, well, but there's always this to do,
Yeah,
or
let's figure it
like
out.
we were talking about. So, yeah, but with what's going on right now, it's pretty serious, pretty severe for the marketplace. So we shall see.
Yeah. Well, I remember in 2008, I was with, not Coldwell Banker. I started with Coldwell Banker and then I went to Remax. And the owner of Remax, I forget his name, he thought that short sales were something that we should all in the company know about, and aligned with Bank of America first we had to get accredited to become certified in short sales, which I thought was pretty good. And I did that. And that, because I was new into the field, because when I started in 2006, the market was up. In 2007, it was tanking, and I'm brand new and broke. So I was going to figure something out. And I was going to stay in that real estate field because I couldn't see anything else really working for me. So I took that certification, got that. I ended up having a business partner, and we worked short sales and expireds. And that was our commitment. And we actually really excelled at it because we were saving people from foreclosure by doing the short sales and really helping them, which was empowering and made us feel good and save their credit so dramatically, And so I think that what's going on in your area, it's going to be similar to that. There's an opportunity for short sales going on over there because that may happen, although there should be a lot of equity in a lot of the homes, although the values may go down because there are so many for sale. And this is where AI is such an important tool to help you analyze areas. And Elon Musk's Grok 3, which is a free platform, and it's a deep research. You could put in that, like those subdivisions in there, for example. You could say, here's the average price point. Here's some facts about it. You don't even need to give it too much facts because it's going to go get it. You just say the town, you say the scenario, here's what's going on, kind of give it some background and say, I want to help as many people as I can in this area. Give me data and research on this, where you feel that the market's going to go based on the political scenario that's going on right now. How can I serve people by being ahead of the game for them if they're looking to get out? And give me data. And I would intertwine that with ChatGPT, but that's me because I'm an AI nut. But
I think it's great you're doing that. And I'm always glad to hear about that. So I'm glad you're going to come speak at our chapter.
I'm excited about that.
Yeah, that's going to be great. They're going to love you. They're going to love your information. They're going to soak it up.
Great. I love that. Well, one of the things that I had a client call me the other day, and he was new to me. He was referred to me. I love that. And he said, I want to get an Airbnb in Lake Norman. That's our area. And I want to be able to have it. And I've got $1 million budget. And I go, oh, buddy. I said, that's pretty lean on the lake. You're going to get a mud pond in front and probably a trailer. So darn it. And I said, how about if we were water view? And I said, have you ever done an Airbnb? No. Do you know anything about how to run them or anything? No. Do you want a project manager? I'd rather do it myself. He said, okay. And I said, the $1 million is not going to get you great. I said, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to do a little research to help you out because I don't want to just start sending you houses. Love to make a commission on $1 million deal. But the truth is, I want raving fans who want to get a good situation and they're happy with their deal. So I went on that Grok 3 my very first time. And I said, I've got a client. I told him who I had, who's inexperienced, wants this. I want you to research all Airbnbs and VRBOs in the Lake Norman area. He's only got $1 million budget. So anyway, I said, I gave it the information about the territory. And I said, now I want you to tell me everything about the Airbnb and VRBO market in Lake Norman. This is not an inexperienced buyer. He's got $1 million budget. what can we do to help him so that he understands what he's getting into? What are some pros, some cons, the whole thing. Man,
Right.
he came back with such an incredible report. I was blown away. I didn't know things about Lake Norman that it was doing in there because we have a big VRBO presence here on the lake. And also, they're in danger of being stopped. That's kind of a thing that happens around here. They
Right.
tried to stop it and put it back on. So I wanted all that in there. So I printed that out and I sent that to him. And he said, he goes, no one's ever sent me anything as extensive as you just did. He goes, you are my realtor for it. That's it. No one else is coming. That's what I want to teach agents as well. This is how you get your raving fans. And I just utilized some tools. And that's what we need to do. So that was great.
Right. That's a great story, right?
Thanks. I love that.
Yeah. No, I like that. Yeah. I'm definitely in.
Yeah. Okay, good. Well, I'll be
I'm
glad
gonna work harder on that AI, right?
Yes.
I've toyed with it, as we discussed. Toyed with it, and I've liked it. I just haven't fully engaged. And so,
And you need a guide. I was reading a book called Story Brand, and he talks about how you brand yourself. And he said one of the things that you need to do in your branding is tell stories that have happy endings. And you're the guide, and they're the hero. And I thought, boy, I like that. That makes sense to me. He goes, if you start watching movies, you're going to see that there's always a guide and there's the hero, and you're not it. The hero is someone who the guide is helping along. And that's your role, is to be the guide. And I love that analogy.
I like that. That's good. Well,
Any other insights? Go ahead.
Well, the only thing I have to say, and maybe I already said it, I don't remember, is you just have to do what you love. Get in there and you try all these different types of real estate and see what else is out there when things are slow, but come up with your own idea. And the training and the education, absolutely necessary. Anything you can do to learn more, like with your AI, anything you can do to learn more, be more educated and get your certifications or whatever it is you need to do. But do what you love. And I have been saying I loved selling land since out of college.
I love
and
that.
Stuck, right? It's stuck with me. Never saying I don't sell a house. I do. Obviously, that's great. Houses are great. They're fast. Development deals take a long time. Right? Land can be fast or slow depending on the land. Yeah. So but
that's good wisdom in there. I liked it.
Well, good. Well, I appreciate you contacting me, and it's fun. I'm really glad that you're doing this. I think it's great. You noticed that I referred you a couple agents already.
Oh, I didn't. I'm excited about that.
Oh, yeah, because and they're not in my state or my territory. One of them is a Coldwell Banker agent I just had hired to help my daughter find a house in Boston, and she was so incredible. And I didn't even know her. But she, out of the blue, she just had so much going on. And, you look for honesty and integrity and down to earth and all of those things that help you put a deal together and feel good. So I sent you her name. And I also sent you the secretary of my chapter for the RLI chapter. He's in Pennsylvania, in Philadelphia.
Oh, great.
And so I think he'd be a good addition for you. Just, different. These are just different perspectives. And
my goal is to help realtors get to think bigger and to expand it. I'm not looking to promote anybody's products or anything like that. I'm looking for advice, and I'm really encouraging realtors to dive in. I just started a new Facebook group called Real Estate Riches Collab, and it is a private group, but the whole agenda there is to share. Just share and mastermind together. Boy, I just learned about something that he told me. One of the guys, it's called Dub. He said he sends all these videos to everybody, and he does them through text and email. And I'm thinking, because I'm a techie, I'm thinking of all the products that I've used and had my hand slapped for doing some things because you're not supposed to do too many on your phone, and the cost of the different things. And he says, it's how I run my business, and it's how I get so many referrals. And I said, all right, well, darn it, I'm going to go check that out. And he had an affiliate link for it, but he sent me a video to show me how he used it. So I put that in our Facebook group so that everybody could see it. I get nothing from that. I did his affiliate link. That's what I want people doing. Sharing things, mindsets, tools, things, whatever, so that we all collaborate and empower each other.
Mhm. I'm right with you on that.
Yeah,
That's my mission for my chapter and all of that I'm doing. So
that's
yeah,
wonderful.
I think we're of the same mindset there, Kathy.
Great. Well, thank you very much for this. And I just want to say
Thank
to
you.
everybody, we'll have Susan's information. You'll be able to reach out to her, do all kinds of things, send questions her way. And she's up in the Washington area and Virginia area handling that. And so you'll have all her stuff. You're going to have links to that Facebook page I just talked to you about. And I'm just so grateful to have had you on. So thank you.
Yes, thank you. No, thank you too.
All right.
Keep at it.
All right.
Thank you, Kathy.
So thanks for joining me on this episode of Real Estate Riches. Wasn't that great? I'm sure you got a nugget or two. I know I did. So if you liked it, please subscribe below, share it with everybody, make some comments. We really find that invaluable. And if you're thinking that you would love to talk about this a little bit more, let's schedule a business strategy call. I'll have the link below. And let's see if we can't mastermind together and see if we can empower each other. That would be great. So until next time, signing off. Hope to see you on the next one.